All right, I'm going to call the meeting of the Fargo Human Relations Commission to order. I'm Chair Barry Nelson. Today is Thursday, April 18th. It is 12:12. Sorry for the delay in getting started. Some of us had excuse of bad traffic downtown and getting here, so thanks all. I would start by introductions of the commissioners. Again, I'm the Chair, Barry Nelson, and I would start with Paul, if you would introduce.
Yeah, Paul Jensen, member.
Cheryl Schafel, member.
Matura Lear, member.
Rachel Hoffman, member.
Leticia Mizero-Hillerud, member.
Great, thank you all. We have quorum. We celebrate that every time we do that. We also have staff members with us today, and I just ask if you would introduce yourselves at the staff table as well.
Kara Glow. Nicole Crutchfield.
Maggie Squire.
Miranda Wolf.
Thank you. And Caitlin?
Catlin Christie is in the back without a microphone.
All right, thank you. Next, we have before us the agenda, and so I would ask a approval of the agenda before us.
I will motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second it.
All right, all those in motion of approving the agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. We also have the minutes before us. If individuals have had a chance to look at the minutes, at any one point, again, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
I will motion to approve.
Thanks.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor of the minutes indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have a presentation that is planned for us today. And I call upon Craig Nathan and Letitia and Janelle, if she is here, to present to us about the Community Inclusion Committee.
Thank you
Craig.
so much. Thank you so much for the invitation. Janelle Klinke's not here today. Janelle Klinke had another appointment, and so we're going to represent some of her comments, which are reflective of our business community. So first of all, what we are is, yep, we've got that. We're the Community Inclusion Committee, and this is a new term that we came up with because if you notice the slide prior to this, that what we do is we represent a larger community. This isn't just working with one entity or one region. So anyway, I'm Craig Nathan. You know Letitia. Janelle's not here. And we're going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing here and how it originated, and then where we would like to go with our plans. So as you can see, this graphic is part of where we started our work with inclusion. We called this the New American Study. This was in September 2017. And what it was an opportunity for us, and us being Rural Minnesota SEP, to be able to learn a little bit more about culture and specifically the new Americans that are coming to this region. Our focus was on employment and making sure that we understood the conditions, barriers, and opportunities to be able to provide opportunities for the new Americans. So moving forward a little bit, what we've done is we've come up with a mission statement. It's very, very clear. It's very short. It was very long until we actually started working together to slim it down. So this is to champion a strong, diverse workforce, and I repeat, workforce is our focus, that meets the needs of the Fargo and the Moorhead regions, because this is a region, this is a community separated by a river. It's two states, but that shouldn't make any difference with how we work together. So you can see that our key partners are people who are working with the New Americans population. We came together with the idea that if we're all working somewhat the same, then what we should do is we should then work together. In other words, we should all bring our treasures and our tools to the table and talk how we can actually create some synergies. Great partners. I've actually been been very, very lucky in our work to be able to work with such great people. Originally, our funding for what Letitia will talk about in a little bit came from Clay County. It was social services. Rural Minnesota SEP actually provides what we call public assistance, employment, and training. And so with that, what we did is Clay County said, we would like to provide some funding to you to be able to provide some baseline documentation, some foundational concepts so we can better understand the New Americans culture. The pathway to prosperity was taking that information and applying to the state of Minnesota, the Department of Employment and Economic Development, to be able to then put together a process for we call it the on-ramp, and then we call it then the bridging, and then we actually then end up with some form of post-secondary education. And I'm not going to talk about that today, but it's actually where this whole project has gone through from its inception. So with that, let me hand this over to Letitia. Letitia has lots of great things to tell you.
Thank you, Craig. So I'm going to be talking about the New American study that was conducted in September 2017. And I did leave a copy for the commissioners to look at, and as well as a summary of the findings and the overall study. So, thank you. So the methodology used, we organized 3 listening sessions. 2 were specific for New Americans, and 1 was for providers of New American services. And the 2 sessions for New Americans were also to include any leaders, community leaders, who actually could also attend the providers, whether they were identified themselves as, playing that role in an official or unofficial capacity. And the sessions were not as well attended as we had hoped for, but the representation of the different ethnicities within the New Americans were well represented in those groups. We also conducted some group and individual contacts to supplement information that we needed, or make sure that some of the stakeholders who were not part of the listening sessions were not missed. So. The study has some limitations. We number one, don't have as, it's more a qualitative data that you will find in that report. We don't necessarily have quantitative data. It's very hard to find statistics around New Americans for many reasons. They are not always included in like the census that as New Americans or as refugees. So we also did not get as much employers' input. And so this second phase, okay. Before I talk about the second phase, actually, I would like to talk about the fact that there are so many key findings that were organized by trends and threats, as you can see on your summary or in the report itself. And also I would like to point out that this report, the recommended use for the report was to supplement, to use it as a supplement with other relevant documents to pursue more funding or new fundings, and also provide more targeted or more customized services. And the overall goal was, of course, to work towards better integrated communities. So now I'm going to talk about the second phase of this original study, and which is what we are currently working on. And it has the deliverables that you can see to validate the 2017 study findings. And we have many ways that we would like to achieve that, including a survey that's going to be sent out to stakeholders to ensure that the findings are what they see and also still valid, and to also double check and see if there are any new development or any new initiatives regarding the findings. We will be focusing mostly on 4 areas, which are education, education, transportation, childcare, and housing. The other deliverable for this new phase is to develop a directory for new Americans and other stakeholders, as well as outline strategies for consistent practices across the region.
Thank you. So business engagement. As you can see, we're about workforce development, and when we talk about workforce development, we know that oftentimes the key to a good life is a good job. I mean, very simply put. And so what we're doing is we're actually working with a process, and so people can obtain employment. And so we work with businesses, and there are very many businesses, or there are a number of businesses who in our region are currently developing, and they're changing their cultures, and they're developing processes to be able to accommodate people who are different and may have different cultural backgrounds. That is part of our work. As part of this, we have an opportunity coming up, and that's an employer-designated program. We know that we have employers that can lead the way and can teach other employers. We want to be able to use those voices in the work that we do, and so we're in the process of developing some process where the employers who are actually having some success and proficiency with cultural awareness can share that. More on that a little bit later. And what we're also doing is we're working with employers who can actually facilitate conversations and who can demonstrate an ongoing commitment to diversity and inclusion. All right. We also work within the continuum of workforce development. We know that education, training, and internships are all part of being able to obtain the skills to be able to obtain employment. So our communities expand when we start to talk about education, workforce development, and business. We pull these together, we break down those silos. Our partnerships, again, bring business and industry together with diversity and inclusion in the workplace. And so we could all learn and then develop competencies, because there's 2 sides to this. Businesses need to develop these competencies, and then our workers actually need to be able to develop competencies. It's oftentimes we call those skills. So the results are a regional business climate that creates an opportunity and fosters inclusion. This is extremely important in the work that we do, because from an economic point of view, and we know this through the data that we have a workforce crisis, and it's not going to be getting any better in the next 20 years. We're looking towards diversity in many, many different fashions. In this case, it's cultural, to be able to fill some of the job vacancies that we see going forward. So how this all works is that we hope to be able to impact families through looking at housing, through looking at childcare, looking at transportation, and as I said before, to meet today's labor demands and to meet the future's labor demands. Okay?
And on that, if you have any...
Well, I do have one more slide. Okay, I'm sorry. You know, I wanted to make sure that this was 10 minutes. Sometimes it's really hard. So what we're doing is, as Letitia had said, is we have a phase 2 of our New Americans project. We've developed a community inclusion committee, and that also includes the communities of Fargo. So the communities of Moorhead and Fargo working together, we hope. We also are going to be having a future session called Equity Logic for Business, bringing some partners up from Rochester who have learned how to do some of this work, who can actually tell a story, and that will be coming up in the future. We'll make an announcement on that sometime coming. And then our partnerships. We hope to continue to develop additional partnerships. And then this is kind of my final word is that one of the reasons why I think it's so nice that we can come here today is that we want to be partners with the City of Fargo, the Planning, and then the Human Relations Committee. We hope that you will join our work and so that we can work together for a greater community in the future. And with that, I believe we'll open up for some questions if there's any time.
Sure, let's make some time for that. Questions from commissioners for our presenters today, Craig and Leticia?
I do have a little question. This is aimed predominantly at employers, correct?
You know, this is, I think that we would describe this as employers are the ultimate outcome. So no, I mean, employment is the ultimate outcome.
Yeah.
But what we need to do is we need to understand how to be able to get people to the place where they can engage in employment.
Okay.
And that is with the New Americans community. So yes, we have a workforce development focus.
Okay, thank you.
Does your work on this that you've done, thank you for your presentation and thanks for the work that you've done on this really important aspect to our community at large. Does your work suggest a process on how this would be expanded into the larger metro region? I mean, you've had some specific ones here, but I'm just thinking about, we've had a process that we've been slowly working on, and so it's exciting to see the steps that you've taken. I'm just wondering how this could be expanded into the larger community.
Well, I start with the end goal, and I also start from the beginning where I didn't know a whole lot, and so I didn't know a lot about what existed, and I had a lot of resources with workforce development programs from the Minnesota side. But knowing that there are many, many resources on the North Dakota side, Fargo, and I knew that you guys are doing this work, we obtained that we did the study in 2017, which created the baseline that we could actually reach out. When you talk about process, my process is actually to reach out and let people tell me what they know. And so if you talk about the process that you have developed, we will become aware of that because we will ask questions, we will become aware of what you've done. If you'll work with us, then you'll do the same type of thing. So specifically, the process that we have is to be able to develop the foundations and then build from there through inclusion of people and ideas. That's my best answer, sorry.
No, thank you.
For kind of a long-term, because I know this is specifically for New Americans, is there any thoughts of expanding that to different communities as well?
Yes, absolutely. When I talk about what I do with the partners in Minnesota, and this is Clay County. Clay County Health and Human Service encompasses many different cities within that county in Minnesota. So what we're doing is we're working with the different communities. One particular thing we're doing is we're embedding a career advisor into high schools to be able to work with what we call the New Americans population in Clay County. What that does is it basically creates a continuum, and so then we can start at a very younger level to be able to bring people up to levels of proficiency and skills for the workplace. My goal is actually 3 to 5 years here to be able to broaden what we do in Minnesota so we can actually create a larger community that includes Fargo and Moorhead. I don't know if I answered your question, but this is not just present, this is actually looking towards our vision for the future.
Other questions? I guess this maybe would be a part of the expansion, but as you worked on the Clay County side, did you identify, and you have the 4 partners, did you identify key potential partners that you suggest should be at the table that haven't been so far?
Tisha, I think you can talk about, that's part of your work, isn't it? Identifying additional partners?
Yes, so far, the original phase was a partnership between Clay County Social Services, Clay County Public Health, Rural Minnesota SEP, Rural Minnesota Concentrated Employment, or SEP, Moorhead Schools. And with this second phase, we are, the presence of employers is a big, that's the biggest aspect, I guess. But we are also making sure that other stakeholders would be included. And the United Way, Cass Clay United Way is also on board with this work. And really, it's many stakeholders or partners that we can find, but that's part of the deliverables, really identifying who's doing this work and what are they doing, where are we duplicating, and where can we collaborate.
As part of this, you mentioned process. As part of the process, Letitia is actually developing a database of either different agencies or different businesses or different entities, whether they be governmental, that are involved in this work, and so then we can know what the landscape looks like.
And maybe, have you defined a budgetary aspect of this moving forward?
No, I'd love to. I do with what I can actually talk people into. I mean, I'm sorry that I'm an advocate for this. I believe in this work. The only way that we can do this work is through some funding. I've been able to obtain funding through our great partner, Clay County Health and Human Service. As we go on, I'm absolutely sure that we will be asking additional people to help us, because this will be bigger, and this will actually need additional funding and more partners.
Great. Other questions? Mature?
Yeah, we have a project called Ishara Project, where South Sudanese Lutheran and Afro-Americans and Somalian development and Sudanese community come together and put a project together that we're working on to help New American get jobs. So far, we started in October, and we had put about 60 New American into jobs across Fargo-Moorhead area. I think your projects sound pretty good, too, and hope we can partner, too.
I mentioned, and I don't know whether you're referring to, but I mentioned that what we call the P2P, or Pathways to Prosperity project. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, but that was our attempt to be able to bring together different entities who are building career pathway pipelines. The Afro-American Development Association's part of that, and they represent the interests, within the Fargo and then the Moorhead region. And then along with that, then what we have is we've got Clay County Health and Human Services part of that project, because they bring together the public assistance, and oftentimes people come through public assistance. We have the Moorhead Adult Basic Education, Moorhead Schools. That's an education component. And we have Lakes and Prairie Community Action. They actually bring in housing and childcare considerations. And then we have businesses. So I'm not sure if you're talking about our existing project, but that project was primarily put together to be a starting point for an employment pathway. And that's where we're starting here.
No, this is different. The one we have is called Ishara,
Okay.
which means, it's in Arabic, mean lead the way.
Very good.
So,
If I may?
Yes, please go ahead. Yep.
Thank you. So I am familiar with the work that Ishar is doing, mostly through United Way, because I think that's the umbrella that you work under. And I'm hoping that I will be reaching out, because I did mention, as part of validating the 2017 study, that there is a survey that's going to be conducted, and also some listening sessions and other individual contacts. And I'm really hoping that Ishar is going to be a key bridge to obtaining that information.
Great. Well, thank you for presenting today. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm certainly, there's going to be, I feel positively inclined to figure out how we're going to go forward together on a larger basis. So thank you. I'm not hearing a call for action specifically today, but we'll certainly have a follow-up conversation on how we are going to work the details.
And Chair, if I may,
Yes.
one of the things that's tying us together a little bit and how Mr. Nathan came to us forward, we share through our inclusion planning team, we share a member, and that's Ahmed with the United Way. And so United Way introduced us to each other. And so we've been already starting to invite our inclusion plan committee members to their inclusion group so that we can kind of build that synergy and collaboration.
Therein is the details. Thank you. All right. All right. Thank you so much. And
Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to come and talk to you.
great. And I suppose we all recognize that Letitia, who we well know as a fellow commission member, was presenting as the consultant with the Ubuntu. So thank you. Welcome, Commissioner John Strand.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to move ahead into the agenda, which is public comments, and this is a time when we ask people from the public if they wish to address the commission to do so at this time. And so I would open this up, and we would invite people to go to the dais over here. There's microphones there to speak to us. Apologize for the formality of our setting here, but hoping that if anybody wishes to address the commission, that they would do so at this time. Welcome back, Precious.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am glad to be here today. The first time I came here, I came in sadness, like I came in doubt. I came worrying some, like, will they accept me? Will my proposal be accepted? That was the thought on my mind when I first came here. But today, I came to let you know that I'm happy, I am more joyful, and I cannot thank you all enough today. But I want to let you know that your contribution that you made to our organization have made a significant impact on our project. We were able to get our office space where we're now operating. And because of that, we have gotten to gain some ISF of credibility from other donors that can now locate us. So this is how much joyful we are right now. So on behalf of the entire Women Initiative Network of Liberia, I stand here today in so much gratitude to say thank you to all of you people for your donation, and thank you for supporting us. You are the first hero in our history down the line, because when we all started in 2017, all we do was to task each other $25, $10, $15 to on goal with our project and activities in the community. But to see you people coming up to give us that son of a dollars was something that opened door for other people to feel that we are trusted. So we just want to say thank you and thank you. I brought you people a thank you letter, and I don't know who to receive it right now.
If you wish to give it to Kara or Nicole, that would be fine.
Okay.
That's great. Thanks so much for coming back, Precious.
And I will always come back.
All right. We look
Can I
forward to
just,
updates.
one more question though, before you go. Where is your new office located? Where's your new facility located?
15 South, 21st Street, Suite 104, Fargo, North Dakota. Zip code is 58103.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Any other public comment today? All right, thanks, Alma.
I'll do my best. I'm not a public speaker and I'm
That's
pretty
fine.
nervous, but I'm here because of an incident that occurred late Saturday night, early Sunday evening. Sorry, it's emotional. So when I was at work, I had received a video where 3 girls were calling me a terrorist and just making these horrible comments. And I came home to find bacon on my dad's car, which, me being Muslim, is basically an attack on my religion. And I wanted to bring this attention up because my parents came here as refugees from Bosnia because of the hate they received. So they've lived here for over 25 years. 5 years later, I was born, so that makes me 20. And I had never experienced anything like this. My family works hard to make sure we're safe and it doesn't happen, but it did. And being that there's no legislation towards hate crimes, I just essentially want to bring this to attention because to me, I see it as no different if I was Jewish and there was a swastika placed on my car. To use pork bacon with knowing that I'm Muslim just really like upset me, and it upsets me that my family no longer feels safe. Yeah, I don't. If you have any questions, I can answer them, but I don't really know where else to go.
No, thank you very much. Thanks for coming here. I know that it's not the easiest thing to stand up in front of a group to talk about your individual
No, and
story.
I don't like public speaking, so.
But thank you for doing that. Are there questions for Alma?
No, but I'd just say it's in order that we apologize because it's unacceptable. But we are unfortunately dealing with some people who are, should we say, limited in their understanding of this world.
Right,
And it's not much you can do about it other than note that this is disgusting, what they've been doing. And we can only, go out and speak against that kind of action. But I don't know if there's much else you can do other than that, but we're sorry you've had that experience.
If I might chime in, Alma, I would hope you've filed a police report. And
I did, yeah.
And then we need to make sure the police report is being attended to and that you're satisfied with the follow-up to it. And if you need intercession on behalf of this commission, maybe involve Barry Nelson as chair in that process or have him go with you there. But that's really critical, is to make sure that that just doesn't end up on a shelf somewhere.
And I did. I had been getting harassed for about 6 months, maybe a little more, but nothing ever like this. And I had called the police previously, but nobody took a report on it. They just told me to leave it alone or that it'll go away. And Saturday night, after receiving that video, I knew that this was so much more than just some drama that was created. And seeing the bacon on there, I knew that there had to be a report, so I basically told the officer that he has to come and take a report. And it's still being investigated, but for the officer to come back and tell my dad that it was just teenage drama, bothered me.
This is where I think it's important you involve somebody from this commission and go with you to the police department if need be or whatever. But we need to put some teeth into our follow-up.
Right, and there's a detective working on an investigation, but it's still difficult knowing how many of these instances occur, but people don't speak out because they're afraid. And I'm not afraid. I need to speak out on it. I was born here, so I don't really know what happened in Bosnia. I just know what was told. But the last thing I ever wanted was for my family to feel unsafe in their home, in their new home now. So.
Go ahead, Letitia.
I just wanted to tell you, Alma, that you are very brave, and thank you for taking the time to come and speak with us. So as a former refugee myself, and as a mom of children who don't know any other home other than this place, I just wanted to tell you that I want to validate your frustration, your feelings of not feeling safe in your own home, and how that must be very difficult. But also for your parents to get re-stimulated like this when you wanted or had hoped for a new life, better life. So I just want you to know that you're not alone, and reach out, officially to this commission, and use the different outlets to make sure that your family is safe. But if you needed support at a personal level, reach out to some parents. I would be glad to help with anything. I saw pictures of your car and bacon stuck on the back windshield. It should not happen. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Alma, for coming today. I know it was difficult for you to do, but it was really important. I think I want to reiterate, too, a couple things. One is that this does need to be visible, because people don't believe these kinds of things happen in our community until people speak up. And then secondly, you speak to the point, yeah, we do not have hate crime legislation in our community or in our state. And you point out clearly why this level of response is necessary, that it's not just a matter of a prank or a vicious attack. It is the impact it's having on your family and their whole sense of well-being and safety is what's being also impacted here. And so it's very important that we address this as a hate crime, not just as a disorderly conduct or something else that it might be charged out as. So the story is really important to hear, and if we can provide some kind of continued support and validation to that, and an avenue like you did today, then we will do that. I have visited with Alma by phone, so I'm glad to meet you in person today, and continue to offer the support that I personally can on behalf of both the North Dakota Human Rights Coalition and the Human Relations Commission.
There's just one thing that I would like to ask. First of all, you are very brave coming here. It's not an easy thing to do. And I commend you for that, for standing up for what you need to stand up for, and what everybody in the community needs to stand up for. And I may be wrong in this, my memory on this, but it seems to me that we had issues similar to this brought up before, and that on police, on the paperwork they have, isn't there a block where they need to check off whether or not it was a crime of bias? And it seems to me that that may not always be checked. And we do not have hate crimes, but there is a way that we can track crimes of bias in our community. And I think and I'm not sure who will do it, but I do believe that we need to make sure that this is recorded as it needs to be.
Thank you.
There we go. Might just add to this, maybe our police officers should be a little bit more culturally sensitive, because this applies not just to Muslims, there are also Hindus who have other beliefs that has to do with similar thing, and so cultural awareness and education should probably be higher up on the agenda, but let's find out what that situation is. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will be following up. Alma,
Thank you for the invite, Barry.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Any other public comment for the good of the group today? Hearing none, I'm going to move us into the next item on the agenda, which is the report out from the Addictions Committee, which includes Cheryl, Paul, and Matur. Could we get an update from you as a committee? I know you've been working on this.
Yes, we did meet on March 22nd, as is noted in the minutes from the last meeting. Matur, Paul, and I, John Strand made it, the commissioner, city commissioner, and Frank. We looked at, different ways to proceed. Frank said that he has a colleague who the two of them have put together a program, and we asked them to first give us a preview of it so that we can find out what is in it. We need to learn as much as we can if we're going to be on the foundation of this project. Paul also made arrangements with the city library starting in May on the third Friday? Mm-hmm. Third Friday of every month. We will have a conference room there so that we can start identifying organizations, people in the community that we need to contact, let them know what we are starting to do, and also make a list of people where once we see the workshop that Frank and his colleague have, opening it up to the public. I am going to be meeting with Frank Hunkler for coffee next week so we can set aside our next meeting for us to get together, to look at the time that we can get together to get the presentation for us.
Okay.
And we definitely have a long way to go. We need to work on exactly what direction we are going in and what we would like to see happen. But I think we have some very firm ideas on how to get to that point. And I think Paul wants to say something also.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I just wanted to say that maybe we will, well, we have observed that, for example, the village here in town, that they have now a first step recovery program. So, and we also uncovered, different organizations that can help people with their addiction problems at the time when it's needed. Of course, we need to check out whether they really have that service available when it's desperately needed or not a week later. But the focus might go more towards the stigmatization in laws and regulations in our community, and how people are treated and how they are, so to say, branded with a scarlet letter for the rest of their lives for a minor offense and become named as a felon, making it very difficult for them to, get housing and jobs and all these other things that are necessary to survive. And I think that might be more, it's my opinion that we might get very involved in that and maybe advise. And Commissioner John said that, some of the legislation we have here in town is I think the word is biased, right? And that makes it difficult for people to become integrated in community again and live a normal life. And that's where we probably should focus our effort. Okay. Because there are many organizations out there trying to help, but the stigmatization of people is a real problem.
For example, if you look at the policy relative to felons, how many can live in a house, it's just hard to read. Yeah. Our policy, we need to revisit some of these some of our policies in the city and contemporize them for sure. Yeah.
Can I clarify that the third Friday of each month, that's going to be, the purpose of this is to invite people in for a safe place to share, or?
That's correct. It's an open house between 12 noon and 1 p.m.
Okay.
At the library, and people are welcome to come in and share their experiences, and it will be just us and nobody else. So it's going to be in a very private setting, very informal setting. Okay.
And as John said when he was talking about the language in the residents and stuff, we also have people probably in the community who have been clean and sober for 20 years, but they have a previous drug-related felony on their record, which interferes with their lives. And even 20 years after being clean and sober and trying to live a good life, they still have trouble getting housing. They still have trouble getting employment. They still have trouble, with many things in the community. And doing our best to find out a way, bringing in people in the community who work in those areas, and trying to find a remedy to that.
Thank you. Good. Well, thank you again to the group for moving on this quickly and continuing the efforts going forward. Thank you. All right, I'm going to move us into strategic planning update, and we do have an announcement with that. Kara, do you want to give us the?
So the May 7th strategic planning meeting is canceled just due to workload in the planning department. But I will be in touch in the near future to reschedule that.
Okay, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
It's postponed, not canceled, correct?
Right,
We'll,
okay, postponed.
Rescheduled? Okay, good. All right, strategic sponsorship applications. We have one before us for Pride in the Park sponsorship. Executive Committee considered this. If you look at the information, the request is for $500. We as a executive committee suggested $200 to support this great part of community celebration. Questions, discussion, and a motion I'm looking for on that. And I should make a point, we do have money.
That's good. So I would like to make a motion to approve a $200 sponsorship for Pride in the Park this year.
I'll second that.
All right,
That's much
second.
more.
Discussion on this. All those in favor of a $200 sponsorship for Pride in the Park indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Another item that was heard before the Executive Committee is we have been a part of Welcoming America for a number of years. There is a dues that are to be a part of that. We have the information is that we did pay $50 last year for part of the membership. This is, we received a bill for $500. There's multiple levels of membership with varying degrees of support that we receive, and we looked at all that information at the Executive Committee. We recommend that we continue our membership. We think it's really important to be affiliated with this really important national organization, and we are suggesting a $200 membership level for that organization. So I'll open that up for conversation, and that's our recommendation, and look for a responsive motion on that.
I move we approved for the $200.
Thank you.
I second.
Thanks, Cheryl. Conversation or discussion? Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Next item, term expirations. We all have terms of office on this commission. This is just to note that the terms expired July 1st of the years in which they're in action. Currently, Paul, Sharif, Abdiwali, and Letitia's terms will expire in 2019. We're asking for individuals that would be wishing to continue, because you're certainly eligible to continue serving on the commission, to let staff know, so those can be entertained. We'd like to do that as soon as possible so that it could be handled by the city commission. They are the ones that actually confirm the appointment. So if you would let city staff know of your interest, so that they can communicate that as well to the mayor and the Fargo City Commission. So this is more for information, and at the same time, we continue to receive applications from individuals from the public who are interested in serving, so that will help us determine how to go forward depending on those who are interested in continuing. All right. Finally, then, we have just a template, a placeholder is our attendance policy. We generally Miranda sends us very with good notice, the notice of the next meeting. We are all asked to respond to that notice so that we can clarify whether we have quorum. I think we're getting better, but sometimes we need reminders. But we'd like to reiterate that it's really important that we promptly respond to these notices so we can go forward with planning. So kudos. We didn't even have to worry about quorum this month, so that's where I feel like we're making progress. All right. Do we have other business for the good of the group?
I do have a question. Will we be participating in the Fargo Police Picnic this year?
I don't know that did we discuss that? I think personally, I would say yes. I would think that would be a plan going forward. Kara, do you want to?
Yeah, I don't know why we wouldn't necessarily. That's a free.
Right. I just know it's coming, where I guess it's early June. So we'd have
Okay,
one
I
more.
will look into that and send you some information.
Yeah.
Thank you. Other information for the good of the group? Do we have any staff reports? Any updates? None? All right, and I think we've probably exhausted our public comment time, or individuals who might wish to address us. So, hearing no other points of information, I will just say, I looked at the notes, attending the Building Bridges Conference. It was a great event in our community. I found much good information, lots of good presenters. And I know, Letizia, you were there as well. I know that Abdiwali was there. Mature, did you go? No, okay. So anyway, well, just to report back on that. All right, hearing no other business, we would stand adjourned at 1:04.